Man, I'm feeling the crave for some beat 'em ups today. But we did Streets of Rage. How about something else? Today on do it, Jake. You know you want to do it.
No. We do not do the mouth sounds when guests are here. That would be no. That would be rude.
Pretend like I'm not here. I'll just. I like it this way. I'll just watch.
I'll just sit in the corner and watch.
It's even creepier when you're in the closet staring. Okay. So.
Creepier or just better?
Really got to start off the only knees now.
Yeah. All right. Today I'm here. And I think I want to talk about some more beat 'em ups. We were playing some Streets of Rage a while ago, me and Sick Jake. We were trying to beat each other. It didn't work. Both of us lost. Now I kind of want to play a final fight, but I was talking to a friend from Tadpog. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, Jake, could you tell me what Tadpog stands for?
Why, they're one of the most organically homegrown artisanal podcasts around.
Accurate.
GP, is that you? No, that's Werewolf. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. Things are good. How are you?
Yeah. I am Pulse 109. You've heard me here before. We also have Sick Jake. Say hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
There we go. Everybody knows that voice. And today we have GP from the Retro Therapy and Werewolf at the same time.
Hello, everybody. Tis us. Yeah, can we put some reverb back behind me, please?
Yeah, fix it in post.
Please, thank you.
I can't hear any snare in my headphones. All right.
Spaghetti.
Now, today we have Dave from Tadpog. And if you haven't heard of Tadpog, it's Tyler and Dave play old games. And they're a source of inspiration for Jake and I. So we wanted to reach out and see if we could at least get Dave. Tyler's like, I don't know who the hell this is. So
Tyler's a tough get.
We snatched Dave up.
I am way more available.
Yeah. Well, we have that much in common. So Dave, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
You bet. That was really sweet of y'all. That's for all that inspiration stuff. That's wild. I like your show. I think you guys should be really proud of it.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
It's I like to thank the rest of the boys, and I just tag along for the bragging rights. So
that works out.
But today, yeah. So I'm just going to go over real quick here. So with Tadpog, how does it work? You get your friends, you get your viewers, listeners, everybody to basically vote on a game. You play it, and then basically record an episode.
I wish we did. That's a much better idea than what we actually do. So what I do is we pray to our Dark Lord, the randomizer. And by that, I mean I type in a random number generator 1 through 725 because I've got a spreadsheet of Super Nintendo games that whatever number it spits out, I just cross-reference that spreadsheet. I'm like, well, it looks like we're playing Race Driving next week. So,
you mean driver training simulation?
Yes, the sequel, apparently.
The sequel.
Yeah, the sequel.
Jake, we can learn from this.
All I'm saying is, a game called Race Driving, it can't be that bad, right? 2 frames per second, 2 whole frames.
Sounds great, man.
Man, I can't see through time, so 2 frames is all I need. All right, so we're going to do a little different. Since you have basically no say in the matter besides punching in a random number generator here, I asked you to bring up a game. So what kind of game do you want to talk about today?
So I really like beat 'em ups, and recently for our show, we did Final Fight 3. And in my research for Final Fight 3, excellent game, by the way. And so I was like, man, I was kind of jonesing for more beat 'em ups. And in my research, I found out about something called Final Fight LNS Ultimate. And I was like, this looks cool. And around the same time, y'all hit me up and you're like, what would you like to talk about? And I was like, well, I'm going to be playing a lot of this game. And Hades, and you guys are like, no, not Hades. We're doing that. I'm like, okay, then this.
You can blame Jake for that one. Jake's the Hades guy.
I mean, damn, I was the only one who played it on the podcast. But
okay.
That's okay.
Okay, so maybe we should have got you in sooner, is what we're saying.
Well,
but okay.
let's just do. You guys want to do Hades again? Are you cool with that? Or Phasmophobia? What do you guys?
I think I got Wolf on board for Hades, so if we can get him to play it again, that'd be good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would have assumed that when you said Final Fight LNS Ultimate, basically, I would have thought that this is like some kind of Wii U kind of championship edition Street Fighter kind of thing. So tell us what it is.
So it's like a fan made fighter beat 'em up hybrid, which it sounded really cool to me immediately because like I love beat 'em ups, I love fighting games. So it's like, okay, you combine those things together and do it well. Because I mean, developers have tried to do that. They've tried to do that in the past, and it's like, I don't know. Like Mazen Saga does this thing where it's a beat 'em up, and then you fight the boss, and it's a fighting game, and it's like that's horrible. But I mean, that's horrible. Ugh, it's bad. But in LNS Ultimate, they kind of take this like the fighting combo system and special moves and super meter and all that stuff, and they kind of put that in a Final Fight game. And what drew me to the game was the absolute bananas roster that this game has.
It's insane.
It's wild. There's like 69 characters. Nice. And I wasn't able to unlock a single one. And I played this game for a really long time. This game is balls hard.
You start out as Cody and hope for the best.
You could play as any of the original cast from Final Fight 2, or Final Fight 3, and then the roster of Street Fighter 2. So those are your starting characters. And then if you beat the game, from what I understand, if you beat the game on normal with any of those characters, you unlock a hidden character, a new character, an unlockable.
Well, I've seen like Jake posted a link. I was watching this. I never got I had time. I'm just very poor with time management, so I never got it set up to play it. So I was like, I got to watch video after video. And Jake posted a playthrough of someone playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't even know how to pronounce the hardest difficulty.
Musou? Basically Dynasty Warriors influence mode.
Yeah.
Double the enemies, double the bosses. It's stupid.
Yeah, and I was watching this playthrough. They're playing as Akuma from Street Fighter, and it's like evil Ryu on steroids is what I always call him. And the guy, whoever's playing, is just constantly this one after other, just combo, and you never see him let up. And it still took him like an hour and a half or something or more to beat the game. And he's just constantly going and making it look easy. Meanwhile, I'm like, Jake, have we beaten Streets of Rage yet?
Look, man, I'm working on it. It's in the backlog. Hades took a long time, okay? No, I played this one. I thought I did pretty good, but apparently after watching that video, I only made it a third of the way through. It's hard.
It's
like,
hard.
Insanely hard.
Yeah.
The default difficulty is 2 lives, I think. No continues.
No, yeah. Essentially, in order to beat the game on normal, you have to do a 1 credit clear. And there are 6 stages, which sounds like it's not a lot, but you got to keep in mind, to anyone who hasn't played this game, like the amount of enemies, even on normal, is like, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
And they're taking enemies from not just like it's most, like I'd say, what, 75% or something Final Fight based, but they have nods to Street Fighter, was it Fatal Fury, all these other ones, levels that are interlaced between everything. So they stretch it out, and in like the most like fan worthy way kind of thing. Like it's like an homage to everything.
Yeah, like I think the first half is Final Fight, I believe, and then after that they kind of go places. Predator, Strider is in there, Cadillac's Dinosaurs. They cover all the Capcom classics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wasn't able to finish it on normal. Like I cannot believe like this game is totally for the enthusiast, which I thought I was, but it turns out that my body is weak and I am not ready because like I played this game a lot, you guys, like to the point where it's like I told my wife today, I was like, okay, I got to record. I got this guest spot on a podcast. I got to beat this game on normal. So essentially, she gave me the day, and then like an hour before we started, I came out and I was like, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
So are you saying that we're the excuse to get time away from the family? So
what I'm saying is it all worked
for that
out
anytime. Okay, cool, gotcha.
How far did you end up getting then?
I got to stage 5 on normal, and then I just kind of ran out of time. I feel like beginner is very easy because like it's very forgiving. You're able to continue. They give you multiple credits. The enemies aren't as hard. So it's like I got through beginner like really fast, and then like I was like, oh, well shit, I didn't unlock anything and it didn't give me an ending, so I guess I'll try it on normal. And then it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's really brutal. I got as far, I can't remember the stage number, but it was the rooftop, and that boss kicked my ass. I was playing on baby mode. I was playing on easy mode. I am not great at these games, as Paul just pointed out. Streets of Rage is still in that backlog. But, I mean, at first, you're playing in it, and the characters feel overpowered. Like, I was playing as M. Bison, and the special moves are wild in this game, and felt like I was doing great. But when you take a hit, your health bar really dives on every enemy hit.
Yeah, the knife guys, the guys named El Gato, like those dudes could like straight up suck a dick because like they will stand and they'll just you'll be fighting 8 guys and they'll be like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on the other side of the screen. I'm just gonna chuck knives until this guy is dead. And it's like they'll hit you with a knife and it's like, well, there goes a third of my life.
It's hilarious.
So it's not like Batman, essentially. So you don't get to take on like 40 guys at once and then still feel like a badass. No, it's a little bit more, I don't want to say realistic, but maybe realistic.
Well, in a way, because this game is great for the wide variety of moves you have. And one of them I love is you have the dodge move. You double tap up or down and you roll. On paper, it sounds great. But then you realize when you're rolling, you can still be hit. There's no invincibility hitbox. Rolling is useless. You still get hit by everything.
Yeah, there's no perfect dodge. Like this game, yeah, it expects you to just I assume it just expects you to be like 100% aggressive because it's like
Yeah.
I found that when I was the most successful, I was just chaining combos and specials, which feels amazing. Like I feel like that's where
Yes.
this game like really succeeds. Because I was playing as Guy because he's my favorite character from Final Fight 1. On second thought, I probably should have gone with like a Street Fighter 2 character because maybe, I don't know, maybe that would have been a little more easy. I don't know. But I stuck with Guy and it's like you can just string, so you have a special meter and it's like you can just keep stringing combos. Like anytime you do a special move like you would in like a fighting game, it uses a little bit of that meter. So I would just string combos until that was done, and there would still be enemies left. And it's like, oh my god, I just used 200 MP, and I'm not done yet.
I gotta say, you probably are at a disadvantage if you're playing with an old beat 'em up character, like from the first one, because you basically have what? Punch, grab, jump kick, and special, as opposed to like an entire I guess skills like fireballs, dragon punches, hurricane kicks, and then all of a sudden you can do all that. Like I would assume like the Street Fighter characters, or at least the fighting game characters, would all be more of an advantage because you could probably combo things better. But I don't know. I never get to play it. I was just watching it.
They do add for like the original Final Fight characters, they do add special moves. And like Guy, for example, he was in Street Fighter Alpha, so it's like they pull a lot of like his moves from that, which is really nice because it's like, okay, this feels good. And also the guys who made this game like love these games. And I feel like that
Yes.
shows through. And that always makes me feel good because I love Capcom. Like when I was a kid, I remember anytime I go to like the rental store, they're like I would look for the Capcom logo or the Konami logo. And it's like I knew if I went home with one of those, I was probably going to be okay.
Yeah, you can do no wrong when you were a kid playing a Capcom game, even.
See, I wish I learned that lesson as a kid. I was the one who went to the mall and picked up that Superman on the NES by Kemco.
Ooh.
You know, glorious Kemco. Such a great
Yeah.
company.
Is that like even endorsed by DC Comics, or did they just say, no, this guy's not Superman from DC, it's just a man who is super? It's like Steven Superman.
They paid for some kind of license, but the Statue of Liberty in that one talks. So it's a classic.
I love that they paid for some kind of license. We're not sure what they got, but they paid for it.
Turned out to be a moose hunting license, and they just broke the law by making the statue talk. Sorry, that's a Canadian thing. We have Meese up here.
I love I love your Canadian voices. It's soothing. You know what I mean? It's very nice. When I'm in the car listening, I feel sophisticated.
The further east you go, the thicker it gets. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah.
The way I pitched it to Beaver Buzz earlier this week, I said, look, there's 2 Canadians on the podcast, and then one guy from Kansas, and the other one wears plaid. Basically 4 Canadians.
Yeah.
I'm literally wearing a flannel shirt right now, and that's not. I wish I could prove it to you, but I am.
Honorary Canadian.
Thank you. Oh man, that's a high honor.
That's all we need. I thought I smelled maple syrup in here, but anyways.
So for this game, it has the super moves, right? Like Final Fight 3, but I never did play Final Fight 3. Are they the same or different?
So I don't know.
Okay.
And it's because some of them, like for Guy, yeah, some of them are. But also they added ultra moves to this game too.
Is that like the Street Fighter Alpha ones where you charge it up and then you get like this crazy super fireball?
Yes, absolutely it is. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so
What's really nice is in the game, like, so when you're configuring the controls and stuff, because this is a PC game, this is like a free game that people can download. And like, I don't know if I'm spoiling anything for the end or whatever, but I think if you like beat 'em ups, it's free. Try it. It's actually pretty cool. But so like when you're setting up the controls, you can set a button to like a move list. So that's really nice because you could be in the middle of the game and be like, well, let me pull up the move list and see if I'm utilizing this character to my full potential. Nope, I'm not.
thank you. Whoever put that in there, thank you, because yeah, that's the best thing I think from more recent fighting games when you actually can pull up a move list.
Yeah, for
if you
sure.
if you didn't have it like the manual, you're screwed.
Especially when there's 69 characters.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy to see because there's not only just characters from all these different franchises, but you actually see the levels. Like there's what's his name? Is Ken's level like in front of the boat?
Yes.
And then it goes onto the boat. So it's kind of cool because they just do all these little nods to all the franchises that they have involved, and then they have little cameos like the dude from. Was it Streets of Rage 3 that was only in the Japanese version? Like the Village People dude with all the leather. Like he's in the background.
Licking the light pole.
yeah, like straddling it and licking it. Yeah, no, like there's all these little sprites in the background and stuff. It's the little cameo appearances, and I think that's something that Capcom did well anyways. So the fact that they put those in is kind of like a nod to a nod, and it's kind of really nice to see. It's like these guys get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so what I ended up doing, I ended up cheating a little bit, and I downloaded a save that had all the characters unlocked, because I had to play some of them.
Nice.
Because you get to play the Predator in it. I mean, it's the guys from the Punisher game are in it. It's just wild, and they did such a good job of taking the moves from those games and translating it over to basically a one-button attack for the most part, right? You have attack, special, and parry, right? And everything comes over.
Could you ever get Perry to work?
Once.
Nice.
And it was great because
Nice.
you get XP if you do it, and you get level ups, right? Because you level up in the game. And I pull up once. Otherwise, nothing.
And you can also counterattack if you parry, but like the window on that is so like the window to parry itself is small, and then the window to counterattack is even smaller. And like the punishment is if you use the parry and you don't get it right, you lose special meter. So it's like, oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's punishing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like this game is not small either. Because I thought of it as like, okay, this got to be like just a ROM hack. So it's just like a few megs you throw onto a ROM or something like you would for any other ROM hack. No, this is like a separate game entirely. And then everything's thrown into it. That was like, what, 1.3 gigs or something the install file was?
It's quite large. It's based on the Open Beats engine, I think it is, which was a fan port of Streets of Rage. They made their own engine, and it kind of took off. And it's a great engine because you can play it on, PSP, on a hacked Switch, Android, all this stuff. But I was reading about Final Fight here, because of the size and the sheer amount of content in it, it doesn't work unless it's on PC or Android. It's insane what they've used this engine for.
Like Jake tried to explain to me how emulators are really forcing things to work, trying to basically try to get old technology to work on more modern things, and it's not easy on the hardware. So that kind of put this in perspective for me a little bit, and I was like, okay. And now I understand why it's so big, because these guys crammed so much in there. It's really cool.
Yeah, I really love how you mentioned it's not small. It is big because there's actually branching paths of levels. They crammed in all the bonus games you've seen in Street Fighter, like barrel smashing, breaking up a car, all that stuff, and it's wild.
Breaking bricks, stack of bricks, I think was one of my favorites for some reason.
There are different modes too. Like there's a fighting mode. There is a volley bread mode, which I really meant to check out, but I was so like laser focused on trying to beat the game on normal and failed that I didn't try volley bread. But it sounds great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think the car mode, or when you're doing the one bonus stage, it's you're beating up Bread's car. Mm-hmm. He's one of the characters in the game, and you're just smashing his car, and it just says Bread's car, Bread's mirror.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it because that's the one that used to come over, and then after you beat up the car, he'd walk over and it would go, "Oh my car!" But I think it was the Super Nintendo version where it would always cut off, so it would always just go cut.
Yeah, it's
it's
like oh my god in the arcade version, and like of course Nintendo like being like whoa, can't say God, whoa, hold up, oh my car,
let's fix that. No, it's hilarious because there's games that I forgot even existed for the most part. I mean, there's so many, all these ones that I grew up around, and arcade games that I never got to play, like Cadillacs and Dinosaurs is one. Mm-hmm. You got characters from that, and then the Final Fight franchise, Street Fighter franchise. They have like the more modern characters from Street Fighters, but they have like the original Street Fighter 2 roster, like those sprites. But they have the more modern ones, like what's his name? The blonde dude, Alex. It's like one of Guile's friends or something. Charlie. Yeah. So, and you get stuff like that, and like these characters are just. I thought it was kind of a throw off for everything. And I was like, oh no, it's just throwing everything in together. But oddly enough, it works. It's just there's so much going on in this game, and they throw in enemies between different games and stuff like that, and bosses, and it's just like Final Fight seems to be like the base that they attach everything else to, and it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's really like maneuverable. Like, I mean, I feel like the reason it's as difficult as it is because it is made for enthusiasts. And also, they give you a lot to work with. I mean, aside from like the super moves and, the regular throws and the juggle combos, they kind of give you a recovery attack where it's like if you get hit, you can press up and attack, and then kind of you'll still take damage, but you'll kind of give yourself a little bit of room. And there's dashes, there's forward dash. Unfortunately, there's not a back dash. You actually turn around and move that direction. I do wish there was a back dash. Like if you could hold parry and double tap back to do a back dash, that would be really sweet.
That's just going to make it too easy,
Yeah,
people might actually be able to beat this on normal.
There are definitely people who can, and it's like, I want to be one of those people, but man, I don't know if I can put that much time into it.
If they just gave me one continue, I might be able to do a little bit better.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah. Like I'm kind of scared to play this now because it was just watching that, the hard, like because it goes beginner, normal, hard, ultra hard, master kind of deal, essentially. And so there's 5 difficulties. And watching the one on the 5th difficulty, and whoever was doing it obviously knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. But because they weren't stopping and stuff and making it look easy, I said, this has to be one of those things where it's just, I will get my ass kicked and won't make it past the first screen kind of deal.
I say check it out anyway. I mean, it's so much fun that it's like, and the price is right too. I mean, I definitely say check it out because it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. And they have CD quality sound and stuff in that too. So it's really like they didn't just take the rips from the original games for music. They have actual good audio in it. So
it's also widescreen too, which is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes, I never thought that would be a big difference, but when I saw that and comparing it to the old ones, I never realized how it's like. You feel kind of claustrophobic playing the old ones if you've played something a little more modern and they have more of a widescreen field of vision on there. So that's like one of those updates for modern gaming that I think they did really well, is adding that makes for a much more enjoyable thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of the black bars. I'm just saying it just made the experience better.
Yeah, well, it allows you to also move faster too. It makes you it allows a developer to make a faster beat 'em up because your field of vision is larger, so enemies can be faster. Because it's always frustrating to me when I play a beat 'em up in 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's like the enemies are too fast, and it's like I had like literally a split second to see the enemy come on screen.
Yeah.
Well, because if you let them get on you, they are cheap as hell. You mentioned the recovery attack. You're pretty much forced to use it because if you don't, they will juggle your ass to the corner every time.
Yeah, and when you use the recovery, the I don't know what it's from. I don't know if it's a custom wave or what, but there's like the woman's voice who says, "No chuggies."
Yeah. But like, I really love this because I've played other fan games before that are similar, right? Most people are probably familiar with Mugen. It's been around for forever. And all the fan games made with that, pulling sprites from everything. But this one, as hard as it is, there's definitely a more level of polish in terms of the controls and the feel of the character movement. It's a cut above, for sure. Especially with all the characters in there. They did such a great job balancing, I think, each of the characters. Like, whether you're playing the original characters or one of the Street Fighter characters. Like I said, I was playing Bison, and he felt overpowered, but he really wasn't. I mean, it was really well done. Sorry for all the slamming. You can tell my kids are awake.
I'm waiting for mine to bust through the door at any moment. What are you doing in here?
Yep.
So.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think the amount of polish on this game is really well done. And it's like it was made in South America. So the site is all in Spanish. And so the only way I could tell what the hell was going on the site was to, use like a translation plugin or something like that. And like they talk about, balance being important to them and like balancing, like when you could look through the updates when they've added characters, they're like, okay, yeah, we're taking balance into account. And it's like, oh my God, that's so much work.
Yeah. The way they've done it, just from watching, it seems like, I mentioned it earlier where I thought you'd have the advantage playing as a Street Fighter character, but when you talked about that, it kind of addresses it too, and just saying like, yeah, you'd be better off with like Ryu versus Cody, but no, like that makes, they're actually paying attention to the player base, and they're not just making it for making a buck, because this is a free game. So they're putting the time and the efforts into it to make it what they want it to be and what they think it should be. So that's really cool to see. I really like indie devs that take the time to actually tweak things and stuff. Like if they're going to put something out, they want to make sure it's finished.
I'm curious where they're from. So you mentioned South America. I wonder if it's Brazil. In my brief speedrunning career, I got my ass kicked by Brazilians because they are masters at the beat 'em up games I was playing.
And which beat 'em up are you holding a world record there, by the way?
Well, thank you for asking, Paul. As you know, I am the former world record holder of Double Dragon. No, not that one. The one in the Master System. And then 4 guys from Brazil kicked my ass.
Aww.
So hard.
Wait, 4?
Those bullies.
They're really awesome, man. They deserve it.
Man, Double Dragon. I remember playing Double Dragon on DOS because I did not have an NES for a long time as a kid. Like, because my parents were kind of like anti-video game. So, but I would whine about it so much that they would buy me PC games because my dad had one for work. And I remember playing DOS, Mega Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was unbeatable. It was an unbeatable port of the NES game. And then Double Dragon. And I did beat Double Dragon on DOS. I wonder if anyone holds a speedrun record for that.
Yeah, Double Dragon on DOS, Mega Man on DOS is such a trash heap of a game.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Jake, say it.
It's hot garbage. Yes, it's totally hot garbage.
There we go. I'm surprised there hasn't been a Tupperware reference yet.
I don't like bringing it up because I don't know how that's working out for Jake, so I kind of leave it until he does.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to Cirque du Soleil. I think my real future's there.
It sounds more fun, I'll be honest.
What if you were Tupperware in Cirque du Soleil? That would be pretty interesting. Like, would like a lion climb into you, or like, I don't know.
I think I contort my body into a vacuum sealable Tupperware container while Celine Dion yodels in the background. I think there's a real market for this.
I agree.
Like, there's a market for everything if you play it right. So
that's true.
Speaking of markets, Don't forget to check out our Ko-Fi link.
Is that coffee? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I thought it was coffee, but I think it's Ko-Fi. It's basically Patreon, but instead of paying for OnlyFans stuff, you just give us enough to buy a coffee.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
We were going to try to do a Patreon thing, but we're not that organized.
Too much pressure to perform. we can't do podcasts on the side.
Yeah. Also, I learned of this thing called spreadsheets today. Spreadshirts, is that what it was? Maybe we could figure that out. See, we're trying to sneak pro tips from Dave without him realizing it.
No. I mean, you don't have to sneak. You can. I mean, I'm happy to share. I will tell you this: that Patreon is like totally super easy. And it's like I know the pressure you're talking about, but like eventually what happens is like what we do is stupidly we'll produce a whole bunch of things and then put it up and then like it'll be lax for like 3 months and then we'll be like, oh shit, we should probably do something with this thing that's very important to us. So
that sounds familiar, Jake. Do you know?
Well, look, you guys never listen, but I keep trying to explain the benefits of a retro podcast is we're not current. We don't have to be.
Yeah.
So we can bank those episodes, man. Bank them and schedule them.
About that, we should learn how to do that as well.
Yes.
But we got Dave here, so it's all good. It's all good. Next time we got to think of excuses on why Werewolf and GP aren't here today, but it just made it easier for me to edit, basically.
Well, I mean, if they saw the Muso mode on this game, I can see why they're scared to show up today. This game is ridiculous. It's a lot of fun though, but it's ridiculously hard.
well, thanks for making me feel better. Because I was like, first of all, I suck at this game, and second of all, I feel really bad that I suggested this game because I hope these guys like it.
No, just watching it alone is really cool to see because I'm like ooh piece of candy really bad. So when I start watching the videos and saying, hey, should I try this? First off, I want to try this, and second off, I actually just enjoy watching people play it. It's really cool because first off, they're getting further than I will. I'm scared of it, and I just kind of get a different experience from playing it because when I'm playing it, I'm tensed up, trying to kick some ass, trying to make it look like I know what I'm doing, especially if I'm streaming it or something. But if I'm sitting back and watching someone who knows what they're doing, I can take in all the little things here and there and just be like, oh, hey, I never noticed that in the background, or this song is amazing.
I'm really glad to hear you talk about like not wanting to stream it because that I've been wrestling with that recently with I have such a hard time streaming games that have a huge following that I'm horrible at. Super Metroid, for example. Like, I will never, and people have asked me, will you stream Super Metroid? It's like, no, fucking no, I won't because I'm horrible at it and you're going to laugh at me and I'm going to be miserable.
I was kind of feeling like that about Hades because I love Hades, but I mean, dude, I think I got 60 runs before I finally beat the boss once. And I found out what we have to do for the ending. But I see people online streaming it and they're just so awesome at that game and they're clearing it without a sweat.
Hades is one of those games that I feel like once you get to a point, it like clicks. And when it clicks, because like it happened with me, it took a really long time for me to get my first clear. But once I got it, it felt like the rest of the clears just kind of became a lot quicker.
Well, it's funny. I was laughing with Wolf because the night we recorded the podcast about Hades, I had not beaten him yet. And then as soon as we finished wrapping up, I'm like, man, I got to play it. And I beat him back to back twice in a row.
That shit always happens.
Yeah, right? But since then, nothing.
Yeah.
We call that beginner's luck. Wait.
Look, I'm 60 hours in. It's not a beginner.
Look, if Dead Cells has taught me anything,
Oh,
yes,
God.
that is beginner still.
That's another one, too. One of these days.
Oof, yeah, Dead
Yeah,
Cells.
Dave, if you haven't played that one.
Yeah, I've played that one. That's that one didn't hold me like Hades did. And I'll be honest, like, and this ties in with why I love Capcom so much. It's like I am such a fanboy for style. Like I know a lot of people, like a friend of mine, Zaldop, like we just recently had a conversation and he was like, I can play a potato as long as the gameplay is good. I'm not that guy. Like I need it to look good. I need it to feel like I am partaking in something fun. I don't know. I love it, but I'm also a graphic designer, so I'm like I'm drawn to like fantastic illustration and art direction and sound and all that. I mean that matters a whole lot to me.
Yeah, and that design that you're talking about, I thought that was kind of lacking when I first at like first glance, because I was talking about the more recent sprites from later Street Fighter games versus the older stuff, and like especially the original Final Fight characters, because they're not the same kind of resolution. Even
Mm-mm.
between like Final Fight 1 and 2, you can see the difference, and it's just kind of cool to see how it still kind of works. They've managed to make it work together, and I think maybe it's because you're fighting so many different enemies from so many different games and stuff too, so it kind of works out.
Yeah, the kind of like general aesthetic of LNS, Final Fight LNS Ultimate, is that it is kind of it's a mishmash, but it does all kind of work because they were all done by this. They were all developed by Capcom. So, and I feel like
Right.
a lot of those games had similar art styles, but with just different, technical specs and all that. So I feel like that really helps it. But I do agree. I mean, when I go into a fan game, especially one with like 69 playable characters, it's like,
Nice.
nice. First of all, nice. Second of all, they're probably gonna have, it's probably not gonna look super great. But I was surprised by this one. I think they you can tell that they tried.
Well, that's why I loved Marvel vs. Capcom and all those, because you could have something like Akuma or Ryu beaten on Mega Man, and somehow it still looked like it would belong. It fit.
Yeah, y'all, my favorite thing about like Capcom dipping in the Marvel universe is like, and this goes back to me loving the style. I mean, it's like seeing those characters. Like I remember playing X-Men Children of the Atom for the first time in the arcade, and like seeing the X-Men, the characters that I loved, seeing them drawn with even just a slight anime tilt to them was like, oh my god, like this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the artwork in those Marvel vs. Capcom games that was one of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time, because it's like Ryu can't, or sorry, Ryu. I know I always say Ryu because I'm
Canadian spelling.
Canadian. Yeah, Canadian spelling. There's something about it that I said there's no more badass way to draw this guy than you'd see in that one. That's what I always used to think. So every time if I go back to the older stuff, like anything SNES era, I'm just like, this isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
But when they threw in all these Marvel characters and you get compare them, they have the same art style as like you see Wolverine, and he's built with like the same kind of stature as Zangief, but like 6 feet shorter. It's kind of cool how they work that in. So that's what I think made this probably transition so much easier, is because Capcom already had this weird style, like you said. They just worked around different restraints, resolutions, everything.
Did you guys get any endings? I know we haven't really talked about the story because it really doesn't matter, but it is absolutely bonkers. It involves M. Bison going back in time after Chun-Li defeats him in the tournament. He goes back in time and makes a deal with Belger, the leader of the Mad Gear gang. So they team up, and that's essentially the story. But like,
It's amazing.
yeah, when you beat the game, so when I beat it in beginner, it's like you don't get an ending. And what they showed me instead, and I don't know if you get this on every difficulty, but what they showed me instead was an extensive slideshow of photographs of people in Capcom cosplay,
Yes.
of varying qualities.
Nice.
Yeah, when I watched the ending online, the Mosu, or the hard difficulty, you also get the cosplay thing. It's a lady dressed up as Poison with some nipply weather, we'll
Yeah.
say. It's a solid 30 seconds of that. My wife walked in the room, of course, at that point, and she's like, what the hell are you watching? And I'm like, I'm doing research for the podcast.
Then she's like, I don't want you doing this podcast anymore. Those guys are weird.
Just
Oh,
blame
they
it
already
on
knew
me.
that. She already knew that. Actually, my wife is not a big fan of Twitch, but every Sunday we actually do watch Tadpog Church. It's fun. She likes to
Hey.
watch.
All
She
right.
loves how you got things down to a science, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I try to have fun.
He's also smart because he's restricting the market. I mean, it's only that one time the week. So, Dave's on. Got to go straight to it. It's like, I won't get my fix any other time.
It's super easy on me too.
Accidental FOMO.
Nice. All right, so yeah, we can probably just wrap this up here. Dave, where can we find you? Where can we find your stream? And where can we find your podcast?
You can find me on, I guess, like, typically, like, I don't do a lot of social media. I know that sounds like I know it sounds like I'm a fucking grandpa, which I'm not, but like, I was heavy into it, and then I realized, oh, this really sucks real bad, so I stopped using it a lot. So I'm on Discord a lot. I'm also, you can find the show on tadpog.com, and that publishes every Wednesday. Right now we're playing through every Super Nintendo game in a random order, and it's a nightmare because we've played all the good ones already. And then I do stream on Twitch.
Once you play Knights of the Round, it's all downhill. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, I think we're like, I don't know, maybe 200 Super Nintendo games in. So it's like, it's just 525 piles of shit that we got to like move through the next 2 years, 10 years rather.
You got one less to play for Super Metroid at least.
Yeah, which is wild because we've already done an episode on that. It's just, guys, I'm telling you. So Super Metroid, people love this game, and I get it. I understand why people love it, but holy shit. This is my third attempt at trying to beat the game, play it and beat it. And it's like, what happens every time I play the game is I get to a point where it's like, welp, I'm trapped in this room forever and I'm too stubborn to look up the answer. So I guess I'm done with this game.
Yeah, I had a extensive collection of video game magazines to help me along the way. So
yeah, I mean, me too. As a kid, that's why I need to get over it, because it's like, as a kid, like, I remember playing games specifically because it's like, I have this issue of Nintendo Power that has these maps in it. Might as well rent this game and beat it just to do it.
Yep.
I still remember Star Tropics. I had the Nintendo Power issue of that with the full maps.
Mm-hmm.
Still couldn't beat it. Still couldn't get anywhere.
It's been 30 years and we're still trying.
Star Tropics has some brutal parts. Like, I'm thinking of that dungeon where I guess it's in the graveyard, and it's like you could just accidentally leave the dungeon.
Yes, and you're screwed.
And then you have to start it all over again. Yeah.
The UFO is where I see people just get stuck and stuck and stuck. It's crazy. I cut you off halfway through it. So tadpog.com, you say. So TADPOG.
Yeah, I'm really glad you spelled it, because like, people are all the time, like when I raid somebody on Twitch, people are always like, oh, yo, thanks, Tap Dog. I'm like,
Tap Dog.
You're welcome.
I'm saying that from now on. So.
It's short for Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. And then I stream on Twitch on Sunday nights as Tadpog _podcast. Sorry for the underscore, but it does exist.
It's okay. We've got a history of underscores in the podcast.
I know.
So. Not us, just GP. Just GP.
Yeah, just GP.
Thanks for having me.
He swears it's gone forever, but I don't know. Oh no, man! Thank you for coming. It's been great.
And I'm super sorry for talking over you guys like constantly. I've just been really excited to be here and excited to talk about the game.
Dude, that's the whole idea of doing the online podcasts. Talking over is just unavoidable. Trust me, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have one less person here, so it's going to be even easier for me to edit. So thank you.
That's a score, man. I edit our show, so it's like anytime. It's funny because like I feel bad because it's like I want good content, but I also want to make editing the show super easy for me. So yes. It's like these two things are constantly battling one another.
I think that's part of the reason why we all wear different hats over here, because I don't know what Jake does, I don't know what Werewolf does, and nobody knows what GP does, and we all kind of like it that way.
GP's the pretty one. He brings the style.
Yeah. He's the only one with hair.
Yeah, I know. Son of a bitch.
I mean, I love you, GP. All right, so Dave, again, thanks for hanging out, man. It's great. We got to do this again sometime.
Hell
and
yeah.
Looking forward to seeing your streams some more, man. I'm always lurking. So
cool. Well, thank you. Anytime you guys want me on, just hit me up. I'm happy
Awesome.
to hang out. You guys are cool.
Sweet. So that Super Metroid episode's coming up, and I'll let you know.
Oh my god. Okay, if you want, like, I'll do it. But like, you're not gonna like what I have to say.
Look, man, I still get hate mail after saying I don't like Final Fantasy 8 and 4. So somebody else can take that bird.
Yeah, but only one person actually replied and said and stood up for Final Fantasy VIII, so we're okay with the odds.
So like I like 8, but I can totally see like, man, saying like that's a brave thing you did, saying you don't like Final Fantasy 4, because like that's not my favorite Final Fantasy game, and I've said that, and just saying that it's not my favorite Final Fantasy game has like set people off. So I get it. Kudos to you.
It's got its fans. It's got its fans.
It does.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, man, Jake, how about you tell everybody where they can find more review?
Sure, my name is Sick Jake. You can find me on Twitch sometime this year, and more often on Twitter at SICJAKE.
There we go. And I'm Polish109. You can find me every now and then on twitch.tv/Polish109. That's PALSH 109. Sometimes I actually play video games.
No.
All right. Again, thanks again for joining us, Dave. And yeah, this has been a blast. And can't wait to see the next hear the next episode and watch the next stream. There, I got it.
Hell yeah! Okay. Thanks for having me on.
Special thanks for music. Go to Arthur the Last Ancient on Spotify or The Last Ancient on Bandcamp. For more episodes, please visit our website at pressbtocancel.com. As well, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you'd like to listen to your favorite shows. As always, thank you. This has been
Press B to cancel.
Press B to cancel.